Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hello and welcome on in to another episode of The Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is behind the glass. He's keeping us on the air like he does every weekday, because that's right, we're here every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's a real interesting day. You get to see my balding, my male pattern baldness coming out. I don't know. I just thought I'd give you guys that treat today. We are talking about how another example of why the Bruins are completely directionless and why this is a little bit more important than a lot of fans might think, and that actually at one position, the Red Sox are in the best position they've been in maybe ever, which is crazy to say about a 125-year-old franchise. And then this Patriots player needs to do us all a favor and do himself a favor and just shut up. We'll tell you who that is. All that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show, your alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. But we start where we start. It's in the thumbnail. Let's talk Bruins. Let's talk Don Sweeney. Let's try not to pop a blood vessel here when we do it. Okay? Let's talk some sports, shall we? We're 4 weeks away from the season opener, and the Boston Bruins don't have a captain. For a franchise like this isn't just unusual. This is alarming. Truly. It's the first time in 24 years they haven't had a captain. That's when they begrudgingly gave it to their best player, Joe Thornton. And look at how that turned out, right? Don Sweeney was grilled about it on the golf course yesterday. Here's what the GM had to say about his team entering the season without a captain.
Not naming a C, or is naming one still on the table?
Well, everything's on the table. Right now, we've been forward with everybody and honest with everybody that we're going to start without it. You know, we've got a leadership group that's been meeting amongst themselves, and I think eventually somebody will emerge as the guy that should be the next captain. It comes with a lot of responsibility. So I'd like to see a little more organic, natural progression of it, rather than just, you know, with a new coach and, you know, having management or somebody. I just think those two things, you know, if one does it without everybody being on the same page, it can become awkward. I think now we just move forward with the leadership group that's going to be established, and let Marco, have his own communication with them, and let them have communication with themselves in terms of what direction they want to take this team and who emerges as the ultimate leader and the next captain of the Boston Bruins.
So this is really interesting because he talks about, wanting it to be natural. First off, we'll get to that in a second, but he talks about not wanting it to be awkward. And I'm thinking, why would it be awkward? There's usually not an awkward process to picking a captain. That means you don't want to pick between these two. Awkward if one person thinks this and one person thinks the other. Really, the players should be picking the captain. But in most cases, the coach picks the captain. What Don Sweeney is saying there, why he doesn't want it to be awkward, is because Don Sweeney wants to pick the captain. Just like he wants to pick all the assistant coaches, just like he wants to pick which players are playing in Boston, which are playing in Providence, and which are watching on the ninth floor. Don Sweeney tries to put more control over a team than pretty much any other GM in the league. Certainly more than any other successful GM in the league. That's why it's awkward. For every other team, it won't be awkward. And also, isn't this really weird to hear that someone will emerge as the next captain? Like, in a vacuum, a team going into a season without a captain, especially one with a new coach, not that huge a deal. It happens. There are teams every year that have it, although I think the Bruins might be the only one right now other than the Ducks. So, that does happen from time to time. But this situation is weird because you're coming off still, almost 2 decades straight of success and with a pretty direct lineage to where you're at today, right? In leadership anyway, with Chara to the Krejci Bergeron, Marchand, and then you should be picking between one of these two guys. Someone will emerge as the next captain, is what your GM is telling you. Charlie McAvoy is entering year 9 with this team. David Pastrnak is entering year 11 with this team. They both played with Chara, Bergeron, and Marchand. The last 3 captains. They've played under and with all of them. And some people think the the whole, captain in pro sports thing is hokey and fine. But this really concerns me about the future of the franchise. The last 3 captains were the guys who laid the foundation for arguably one of the greatest eras in Bruins hockey. And the guys playing alongside them with the A's on their sweaters can't step in and fill that role? Really? Or you can't pick one of them? This is another perfect example of why the Bruins need to rebuild, not retool. This is the example right here. They have no identity. None. They aren't tough. They don't score. They're not defensively sound. And apparently, they have no leadership. The train was coming off the tracks last year. But how dare you ever question Brad Marchand? Team icon, great friends with Bergeron. Of course he's the captain. David Pastrnak, team icon, great friends with Bergeron. Well, he can't be captain. Charlie McAvoy, same thing. There's nothing there. There's no identity to this franchise right now. And the last time the Bruins had an identity crisis like this, they had to trade their best player, a future Hall of Famer in Joe Thornton, just to get some leadership in the room, just to establish an identity again. Whether you believe the Joe Thornton trade was good or not, that's why they had to do it. And look, he was captain of the Sharks for years, and they were a team that underachieved for a long time. That's a lack of leadership. Joe Thornton's probably a better hockey player than Zdeno Chara. Chara was a better captain. Mike Modano was a better player than Darian Hatcher. But who was the captain of that team that led them to success? And this makes me really concerned that the Bruins are heading down the same path again right now. Because my vote for who should be the captain is the best player on the team. A guy who is a terrific offensive player, who has at times struggled in the postseason, much like Joe Thornton. And maybe this is them trying to not make the same mistake twice. Because I do think David Pastrnak is a obviously tremendous player, even underrated player in this league. And I thought he showed good on-ice leadership last year. Like, things were going to hell in a handbasket, and he was not making any excuses. He did his job more than any other Bruin has single-handedly done ever. I mean, the franchise record with 13 straight goal involvements, right? For 13 straight Bruins goals, Pastrnak either assisted or scored them. Like, I think that's genuine leadership. And if it's not one of those guys that's been here for a decade, should we be looking at someone else? Should we be looking at a Nikita Zadorov, who stunk at times last year, right? Took a lot of penalties. I think he led the league in penalties. But would stand up for his teammates. Would fight the guys when the time was right, when they needed somebody to step in. I mean, beat the shit out of Jamie Benn after he tried to kill Brandon Carlo last year. And again, it might sound like a hokey thing. Oh, you got to have a great captain to lead these grown men. But 2 things are true. You completely fell apart last year after your captain was traded. And B, teams without a captain are typically not good. They're not good. Like, that's just proof is in the pudding, man. There were 6 teams in the NHL that did not have a captain last year. Okay? Tampa was one of them. They finished 7th. They were the only ones that made the playoffs. Anaheim finished 25th. Buffalo finished 26th. Seattle finished 27th. Utah finished 19th. And Chicago finished 31st in the league standings. That's the kind of company you're keeping when you don't have a captain. Like, that's just what it is. And Tampa is the odd man out. Their captain left in free agency. They've had the same coach, very successful coach in place for almost a decade and a half. They actually have 2 guys in Victor Hedman and Nikita Kucherov, and maybe even an Andrei Vasilevsky, who have had leadership roles in the past, and they're okay with that because they continue to be good. They're a good, talented team. The Bruins aren't. And they're not willing to pick between Pastrnak and McAvoy, but those guys also have not won the Stanley Cup. Victor Hedman and Nikita Kucherov have both won the Stanley Cup multiple times. Hedman's won a Conn Smythe. Andrei Vasilevsky's won a Conn Smythe. So the Bruins are much more in the middle of these other teams than they are with Tampa. In fact, the teams that finished 25th, 26th, and 27th didn't have captains. The team that finished 28th was the Boston Bruins. Oh, and to take it a step further, Anaheim hasn't had a captain since Getzlaf retired in 2022. And in those years, they have finished 25th, 32nd, and 30th. Chicago, 31st, an absolute mess, man. Which of those teams that I just named, other than the Tampa Bay Lightning, would you switch places with? Any of them? There's a common thread between 5 of these 6 teams that didn't have a captain last year. They all suck. They don't make the playoffs. In most cases, they're one of the absolute worst teams in the league. Buffalo, Seattle, Chicago, they're dumpster fires, man. Like we're laughing at them even sitting in 28th. Seattle was better than you. And they can't get any decision right. Like that, they cannot pick anybody in that franchise. Who are the 25-26 Boston Bruins closer to? The Tampa Bay Lightning or Seattle and Buffalo? You finished behind all 3 of those teams last year. Let's be real here. I'll take it even another step further. Out of the 80 teams, 80, out of the 80 teams that have made the Stanley Cup playoffs the last 5 years, 4 of them did not have a captain. 4 of 80. 1 in every 20 is not going to have a captain. That's how rare this is. One team in the last decade has made the conference finals without a captain. This is concerning. It's really concerning for the short-term and long-term future of this franchise that 2 guys who have been 2 of your best players for going on a decade now cannot separate themselves. 2 guys who've not only been 2 of your best players, but have been alternate captains the last 2 seasons. The longest tenured players on their team cannot separate themselves as leaders. That's really concerning to me. You're going into this year with a clueless GM, a minor league coach, and no defined leader in that locker room. Are you really feeling good about that? Like, I've done segments before, and I do think there are ways that the Bruins can make the playoffs. I've always said a lot needs to go right. But, like, if I just lay it out to you like that, and tell me if there's something wrong, if I've said anything incorrect. You're going into this year without a clueless GM, or you're going into this year with a clueless GM, a minor league coach, and no defined leader in the locker room. Does that make you feel good about the Bruins? Has anything in this offseason made you feel good about the Bruins? Anything that's tangibly happened? Not just what one guy says, not what Jeremy Swayman says, not about what Marco Sturm's interview press conference sounds like. I'm talking moves, development, anything that makes you feel great. Like with this leadership group they have right now, Marco Sturm, a first-time NHL coach, and then a bunch of guys. Do you think that's going to turn Jeremy Swayman around? The guy's referring to himself in the third person now. You think the guy might need a leader? A little kick in the ass in the locker room? Maybe get him to be an all-star goalie again? Don't think you're getting that. Do you think that leadership group is going to bring the defensive structure that you will need to win games and be in the playoff hunt? You think that's going to make a real disciplined team? Do you think this leadership group will show these prospects, on some of them with their last chance to prove themselves in the NHL, how to play in the NHL? This is a bigger deal than a lot of people realize. And I know I'm usually doom and gloom about the Don Sweeney Bruins, but I really think this is a bigger deal than a lot of people realize. It's just another example of this franchise being completely directionless right now. Rudderless, directionless, whatever you want to call it. They don't have strong leadership from the top down. And I'm not talking about just the locker room. I'm talking about the ownership group, to the general manager, to the president, to the head coach, and then to the guys in the locker room. I mean, shoot, we can go continuity everywhere else, right? We can keep the same assistant coaches. We can even just bring the broadcaster from the radio to TV, but we can't name a captain. We can't have these guys who have been on the team for a decade. Neither of them could be a captain. That's scary, man. It's frightening for two guys who are in their prime, and we're sitting here being like, don't waste McAvoy and Pasternak's prime. If they can't step up and be one of them be a captain of the team, maybe they're wasting their own goddamn prime. Really what this is, it's just another example of how they won't commit to anything. Nothing, man. They don't commit to anything. Like, seriously. I go back to this. Cam Neely at the end of the season press conference says, yeah, this is a real prove it offseason for Don Sweeney. And what do, man? Before he does anything, before he drafts anybody, before he signs anybody, before he even hires a fucking coach, they extend him. Well, Cam, they extended him. That's a commitment. No, it's not. They extended him for 2 years. Literally the least amount that you could extend the general manager. That's not committing to anything. He won't even say the term rebuild, even though that's exactly what this team needs. They won't commit to that either. They won't commit to a GM. They won't commit to a coach because they're not going to let him bring in his own staff. They're not going to commit to their prospects because these guys don't play enough in the NHL and don't play good NHL minutes and don't play with good NHL players. They don't commit to anything, man. Anything. They just expect the wheels to keep on turning because they were pretty good in the 2010s. Remember that? Let's just keep on spinning the wheels here. Commit to something, man. If you were committing to be a better team this year, you would have signed some guys who could put the goddamn puck in the net, but you didn't do that. You wanted to get tougher. I don't know what the fuck that's committing to, but it's committing to the wrong thing. And if you were committing to the goodness of the future of your franchise, you would call this what it is. It's a rebuild. And you would have taken some steps towards rebuilding. But instead of doing that, you decided to kind of take those steps at the trade deadline, right? You more or less blew it up at the trade deadline. And then in the summer, you spent almost up to the new cap on grinders, on plugs, on fourth line guys. That's not committing to anything. They want you to believe that the Bruins organization commits to excellence. That used to be the case. Right now, that's all bullshit. And yeah, it's just a little letter on the sweater. But that is just another shining example of we don't know what the hell we're doing here. We won't commit to anything. Those other teams that don't have captains, other than Tampa, they're committing to something. It's not what you want, but those teams are all rebuilding, all of them. They're tanking. They're doing it. They're getting high draft picks. The Bruins don't want to do anything. They want to maybe push all their chips into the middle for, again, just one season to maybe try and make a run at the playoffs. Rather than just calling this what it is. Look, we got a prospect in the top 10 of the draft last year. We really don't have enough talent here to feasibly believe that we're going to be in the postseason. Why don't we just do it again? Why don't we just have another bad year, get another top pick? We've got 4 first-round picks in the last 2 years because of cleaning house. Let's make those picks the best that we can. And instead, like a captain, like a coach's philosophy, like a direction for the franchise, they can't commit. They can't commit to anything. That's what I'll remember from the Don Sweeney era. They just kept spinning wheels because they couldn't commit to a damn thing. Peter Chiarelli, shoot, man, criticize him all you want. Committed to something. Sometimes it wasn't always the best thing, but the team's always won. It just sucks, man. No wonder why Brad Marchand wanted out of here. It's going to continue if they have another season like last year. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is this a bigger deal than some of us make it out to be, that the Boston Bruins don't have a captain this year? How do you think they should handle this year? What is the direction this team should be going in? Let me know in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you think that Don Sweeney gives this team no damn direction. We're talking Bruins every single weekday and everything else going on in the world of Boston sports that you don't have to listen to Boston Sports Talk Radio. I'm Cam Stewart, your alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. That's why it's called The Cam Show. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air every weekday, live on YouTube, noon Eastern time. So if you're here, get in the comment section, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Check out the other videos on the channel, talking Bruins, Red Sox, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. Coming up next, the Bruins are completely directionless. We've already established that. But the Red Sox are in as good a position at this one position as they have ever been. That's next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. U-Like. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AdPace.
AdPace.
And now, back to our show.
Back here on The Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm happy to report I did not pop a blood vessel talking about Don Sweeney's directionless Boston Bruins. Thankfully, that did not happen. We've talked to the Bruins, why it's a bigger deal than you might think that they have not named the captain yet. And it goes to show, the stats go to show, that when you don't have a captain, you typically don't win very much. You're just typically not a very good team. And that's where I think the Bruins are heading once again. The Red Sox are a good team. And they will be a good team for years to come. Okay? There's still some question marks around Craig Breslow as the GM of this team, but I think he has a major check next to a very important box. And it's not just for this short term, but really for the next decade of Red Sox baseball. And trust me on this one, guys, I'll give you the numbers to back it up, but there are few people on this planet who know more about the history of the Boston Red Sox than I do. And when I say something that is like one of the great things that have ever happened in Red Sox history, like I don't throw that around lightly. I know the 125-year history of this team. And what we're seeing right now brewing is some of the best things we've ever seen from a Red Sox team. Man, without any further ado, I guess I should just get into it, huh? For the first time in 20 years, The Red Sox have developed a legitimate pitching pipeline for the next decade for contending in the American League. Peyton Tolley and Connolly Early have come in and looked ready for the bright lights right away. Garrett Crochet is one of the best aces in baseball. Brian Bayo is shoving this year. This is not just luck. This is a pitching revolution in Boston. And it could be getting even better in the near future. It's scary good. Okay? And we saw it on display last night. So Connolly Early makes his major league debut, and all he does is throw 5 shutout innings, sits down the first 8 batters he faced, and ties a Red Sox franchise record with 11 strikeouts in his major league debut. 11. Including, by the way, his final inning, where the bases are loaded with 1 out. I think it was actually the 4th inning. Bases loaded, 1 out, and he strikes out back-to-back guys. Major league debut. And all of a sudden, here the Red Sox go again. They've got another guy. I have been searching my whole life for the Red Sox to develop starting pitching. And here it is. It's happening right in front of us, man. It's right in front of us. And Connolly Early's debut last night, that would be the highlight of a season for a lot of teams. A lot of teams that haven't made the playoffs in the last 4 years. How about that? But honestly, it might not even be the most exciting debut by a Red Sox this year. Peyton Tolley was electric in his first start against the Pirates, man. He was killing them. Remember that? 5 1/3, struck out 8. Fenway was buzzing. And the numbers love him. Based on the analytics, Rosterscape, which does this thing for a lot of minor leaguers coming up to the majors, Rosterscape projects him to have swing and miss numbers comparable to Tarek Skubal and Garrett Crochet, the 2 best pitchers in the American League, bar none. Both these guys, Tolley and Early, have elite swing and miss stuff. They're both 96, 97 with their fastball. And we saw it with Tolley, some of the best extension of any starting pitcher in the majors already. And Early, with his fastball, 96, 97, it's not even his best pitch. The changeup is his best pitch. In AA and AAA this year, Early had a 2.60 ERA with 132 strikeouts in 100 innings. He's legit. Legit, man. And there's something to be said about the pipeline that the Red Sox have going right now. Peyton Tolley was a 2-way player, JUCO, TCU for 1 year, Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, and the next year he's in the majors. Connolly Early started his career as a reliever at Army. How many Army pitchers do you have in the major leagues right now, or ever? Transfers to UVA, becomes an All-American in his only year there, and again, 2 years after that, he's in the majors. And the Red Sox have this going on right now. I can't stress enough how rare this is for the Red Sox in their whole history. Because in my lifetime, which is one of the best lifetimes ever for a Red Sox fan, I'm not yet 30. I've seen them win 4 World Series. Nobody's done more this century. They have developed a lot of talent in my lifetime. A lot of it. Just not on the mound. Not then, man. In fact, because I got the numbers to back it up, since Roger Clemens, who came up 40 years ago, since Roger Clemens, the Red Sox have had 1 homegrown pitcher finish in the top 5 in Cy Young voting. 1. John Lester. That's it. Now, Lester and Clay Buchholz are the only 2 all-star starting pitchers they've developed in the last 20 years. But as we remember, Buchholz was pretty fluky. Pretty fluky. And the best part about all of this, is you're not bringing these guys up to be your number 2 starter. They're coming up during a playoff push, and they're in the back end. For me, that's almost a perfect situation. You're playing meaningful baseball games. They're learning things at the major league level, and there shouldn't be a ton of pressure on them. Because you look at how this team is right now. You have a legit Cy Young ace at the top of your rotation in Garrett Crochet. Genuinely the best pitcher in the league. And he hasn't hit his prime yet. He's 26. Brian Bayo is the other stud starter you've developed in the last 20 years, who's just now coming into his own, and he's looking like a second ace in your deck. He's been just as good as Crochet the last 2-3 months. He's 26. Peyton Tolley is 22. Connolly Early's 23. This is as bright a pitching future as the Red Sox have legitimately ever had. Ever. That's not hyperbole, man. You'd have to go back to the days of Smokey Joe Wood and Eddie Seacott 110, 115 years ago to think of two guys at the same time who are coming up and being added to another homegrown star that you have and another one that you traded for, but you're going to have on your roster for the next 7 or 8 years. Like that does not happen with this team. They've developed a lot of talent in the length and history of their franchise. They have not developed pitching talent like the likes of which we are about to see ever. It is a really good time to be a pitcher in the Red Sox organization. And the best thing is, they've got options. They've got flexibility here, not just for this year, but for the future of this team. No one liked seeing Tolley and Early having great debuts more than Craig Breslow, I think. Because he suddenly looks like a genius for not trading for Joe Ryan, where one of these prospects probably would have been in the deal. Now, granted, you take the good with the bad. He did send away what has become one of the best pitchers in the National League this year, in Quinn Priester, for nothing. But no one's remembering that now. No one's remembering that. All they're seeing is 2 more excellent-looking starting pitching options coming through their system to add to a rotation that the top 2 guys are locked up for the next 7 or 8 years. That's what they're seeing. And they're also seeing the numbers out of Minnesota with Joe Ryan, the one we all wanted at the trade deadline, the one I wanted, the one I still kind of want. But you look at this recently to make Craig Breslow look better. Joe Ryan's given up at least 5 earned runs in 3 of his last 4 starts. And to be fair, I still don't think that's a good enough excuse to not make a trade for him at the trade deadline. But again, Breslow's looking pretty good right now for trusting the kids this franchise developed over the last 2 seasons instead of going out and getting another top-of-the-line guy. I still think Joe Ryan's a hell of a pitcher. I would still trade for him in the offseason. Now, it's a big offseason. You might be third on the list of priorities, right? You got to re-sign Bregman. You've got to go out and get someone like a Kyle Schwarber, power bat in the middle of your lineup. But Joe Ryan is still one I'd like to have up there. And if they add him, by the way, they would be scary good next year. And that would not only help you for 2026 and 2027, but it would also crucially help in the development of your other pitching prospects, namely Peyton Tolley and Connolly Early. Because as I just mentioned, the best kind of situation you can bring them up in is playing for a good team, playing meaningful baseball, but not having them be the number 1 or 2 starters. You don't want that. Now, the only downside for me, for this situation with the young pitchers, in the very, very short term, is this. The only downside is, can either of these rookies be your number 4 starter in the playoffs? In a game 4, in a game where someone has a series lead, and you're facing some of the best hitters in baseball, and the season is on the line, can they go out and get the job done for you? That's a major question. Early started this year in Double-A. Peyton Tolley started it in High A. Does that make you feel great? As good as it's been, as fun as it's been to watch, that's where I'm really concerned. Really concerned. But the future of this rotation, I feel great. Great. As great as I've ever felt about a future of a Red Sox rotation. No hyperbole, no ifs, ands, or buts. And honestly, the outlook of the starting pitching in particular is the best I've felt about Craig Breslow in any respect so far, in anything he's done. Crochet, Bayo, Tolley, Early, Giolito, and still some depth with guys like, Houck and Cutter and Fitz, Dick Fitz, Hunter Dobbins for depth, and a bullpen with two of the best relievers in baseball this year with Aroldis Chapman and Garrett Whitlock, and you still have plenty of options to go out and get another big-time starter this winter. Yeah, I feel great about it. And to top it all off, to make this even better, you've still got 4 pitchers in your top 10 prospects list. 4. And that does not include Tolley or Early. That's insane. That's got to be the best pitching pipeline of anyone in Major League Baseball right now. For the Red Sox starting rotation's future, it's as bright as it has ever been. Embrace this. Remember this. We got 16 more games here, and come what may in the postseason, it will likely have a frustrating end because the goal here is championships. And they're probably not going to get there this year, so it's going to be frustrating. But this starting pitching, the future of it, is as much hope as we have had around this team in a while. In a heck of a long time. And I'm telling you, it's the best the pitching pipeline has ever looked. No doubt. 1 or 2 of these guys are going to get Tommy John surgery. They all do. One of their top prospects is coming off that right now, actually. But you have got 4 other starting pitchers in your top 10 prospects list. That doesn't include the 2 that have come up already this year and have looked great. And it doesn't include a second ace in Brian Bayo, who's been one of the best pitchers in baseball since June. It does not include the guy who still could win the Cy Young Award this year and is only 26 years old, and Garrett Crochet. That's in addition to those guys. This is going to be fun, which is not something I've said about the Red Sox a lot the last couple of years. This is going to be fun. And you're just seeing the glimpse of it with back-to-back shutouts with Crochet and Connolly Early. This is just the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg. How excited are you for this Red Sox future? Let me know in the comment section below. What pitcher are you most excited to see long-term? Let me know in the comment section below, and then like and subscribe to the channel if you are excited about this Red Sox future, because we're going to be talking about it right here every weekday, live at high noon Eastern time on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts as well. Just Boston sports, man. No bullshit. Red Sox, Bruins, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports, so you don't have to listen to Boston Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air. Check out the other videos on the channel, talking Red Sox, Bruins, everything else going on in the greatest sports city on the planet. Check it out. And stick with us, because coming up next, we'll talk about the Patriots, the most frustrating team right now, I would say, in the Boston sports landscape, mainly because it's September. Once we get to November or so, the Bruins will definitely take that mantle. But we're going to tell you about one Patriots player who just needs to shut his mouth, or else he might get exactly what he's asking for. That's coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science, take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at grincoscience.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, The Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. It's called that because my name's Cam. Okay, Cam Stewart, your host, Zach Burke, keeping us on the air. He's here with us every weekday, live at high noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcast as well. We've talked Bruins. We've talked Red Sox. I got to get into a little Patriots discussion. Tomorrow, I'd like to talk about whether the game against Miami is a must-win and the repercussions if they don't win that game against the Dolphins, which they never do. They never beat the Dolphins. But first, I want to talk about someone I want to do the anti-Belichick. I want to do someone who's not on the field right now because our old pal Jalen Polk was active on Snapchat, okay, yesterday. And I'm going to put the picture up here, although I gotta apologize. You're not going to be able to see the bottom of it where he says, free one. That's all he said. Free one. Can we free Jalen Polk, please? Free you from what, brother? You're on the IR. You're not playing this season. You don't need to be freed from shit. And what I really don't want to hear is Jalen Polk bitching about being here in New England. Because I'm bitching about him being in New England. We've earned that right to bitch about him being in New England. Zach, could I bring you on here real quick? As our producer, our statistician from behind the glass.
I'm a little fuzzy today, but yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Could you just help me with something?
Of course.
How many catches did Jalen Polk have last year?
All of last year?
Yeah, the whole thing.
As I'm looking through, that would be a big whopping 12.
No, Zach, the whole year.
Yeah, no.
Not one game.
For the whole year. That would still be 12.
And how many receiving yards did he have?
That would be 87.
Zach, I think you're
No,
mistaken.
you're right. You know, I don't sleep
the whole
sometimes,
year.
believe me.
The whole year.
No, it's still 87.
Huh. So you're telling me, Zach, a former second round pick from 2 years ago, the 2024 draft, who had 12 catches and 87 yards for the whole year last year, is saying free one, free me, who's also injured, by the way. So I don't know what you want. That's the guy that's saying that, right? Like the names match up, correct? Jalen Polk? Just make sure you're
Making sure I spelled it. Yep. Nope. Correct. He is there in his Patriots uniform. Yes.
Yeah. So
he had 2 touchdowns.
I'll give a nickel's worth of free advice to Jalen Polk, who's not asking for it. My advice to him would be shut the fuck up. Like genuinely shut up. Like this was the guy who was telling us last year he has some of the best hands in the league. 12 catches on, correct me if I'm wrong, 33 targets. That's pretty bad.
Nope, that
would indicate you don't have good hands. I mean, sure. Did you have the best quarterback play last year? No. Some of that was with Jacoby Brissett. But 12 catches on 33 targets, maybe you don't have the hands here.
I don't want to take away from that too much. Of 13 of those came from 2 games that were back-to-back in week 4 and 5. So then
13 targets.
Yeah, then 20 targets for the rest of the season.
Okay, gotcha. 20 targets in the other 15 games. Huh. Yeah, that guy's the one who needs to be free, right? Please, if you would like to free yourself, Jalen Polk, of this team, be our guest. Like, you're already a bust on this team in a time where they brought in a quarterback in the same draft, desperately needed a quarterback wide receiver combo. He actually got that with Kayshon Boutte instead of Jalen Polk. So, yeah, free one, man. Free one. Last guy to have that kind of attitude, N'Keal Harry. How did that work out for him? He tried to make him a tight end. He's still kicking around somewhere in the league. Be careful what you wish for, Jalen Polk. Thank you, Zach, for the statistics, for breaking this down analytically. Be careful what you wish for, Jalen Polk, because you might just get it. And that's going to make us all really happy. But I don't want to hear from this guy. Like, you've got the benefit of the doubt this year. You have a legitimate injury. You're out for the season. But don't give me this free one crap. You got hurt. And before that, you sucked. If there's one thing we can't stand in this town, it's bitching when you suck. And that's all Jalen Polk has done, man. Go, try it somewhere else. Vegas, they could use some receivers when they're not playing the Patriots. Go ahead, man. We'll take Jacoby Myers for you. Give me a break. 12 catches on 33 targets for 87 yards in 17 games last year. And he's saying, free me, bro. Free me. Bro, this offense needed you. We needed you last year. Anyway, I think Jalen Polk should just genuinely just shut the fuck up and get back on the field and play in football and play like your career is on the line next year, because newsflash, it fucking is. It is on the line next year. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What's your advice to one Jalen Polk? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you think he's been a massive disappointment thus far. And help us on the path towards 4,000 subscribers. We're here talking Boston sports every weekday live at high noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. We're giving you an alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio every single weekday. So check out the other videos on the channel, talking Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. And we will see you on the next edition of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internix.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Tusains, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.